With us now is Adam Milstein. It's a real pleasure to finally get to meet you, sir.
My pleasure, Richard.
So you helped found this amazing organization, the Israeli-American Council. Tell our viewers about it, please.
I was one of the original funders. We had an idea around the dining table some 11 years ago to unite Israelis wherever they are in Los Angeles to start with and create a vibrant community that will ensure the identity, the Israeli-American identity of our next generation and strengthen the state of Israel. And without really any staff or any plans, we decided to do it and to jump into the water and start swimming even though we didn't know how to swim. So we launched the organization 11 years ago, and we really made a huge community out of all the Israelis in Los Angeles. But really, the historical change in our organization happened in 2013 when we realized that although we love Israel and we feel Israel in our heart, we're actually Americans, and we are Americans of Israeli descent. So we have changed our name to the Israeli American Council and our identity to Israeli Americans. And when we did that, people start treating us like Americans and not foreigners. And we were able to get enough funding from Sheldon and Mary Ellison and others to take our vision nationwide and build a community from coast to coast. That again, its mission is 3 pillars. One is to ensure the Israeli-American identity of our next generation. And let me explain what is the Israeli-American identity. It's something that we call Israeliness. It's something that we share with people in Israel. It's the language, it's values, it's the fact that we all Jews, whether we're secular or Orthodox, it doesn't matter. We all see Israel as the homeland of the Jewish people. We're all willing to stand up for each other. We all have pride and courage, and we think out of the box, and we are innovative and entrepreneurs. And this is what we want to give to our next generation. We want them to be similar to us in their character. The second pillar was to strengthen the state of Israel and the Jewish people. We are here to make sure that Israel is strong. Something is very unique about our community is that we know that Israel is not perfect, but we want to support Israel unconditionally. You know, I think beggars cannot be choosers. We have only one Jewish country in the world, only one country that can prevent the next Holocaust, only one country that can be sanctuary to Jews in danger, and our job is to make it stronger and not criticize and weaken it. And by us doing that, I think we have created a new brand in the diaspora, Zionist diaspora. And this vision of Zionist diaspora, we are planning to take even larger than the United States. And the third pillar was we want to work together with the Jewish community. We want to be part of them or be part of the Jewish people in America together. We are not interested in creating a standalone organization that doesn't work, share, and collaborate with our Jewish organizations. So we want to have really connection with them and be able to help them with their connection to Israel and the Israeli people.
What a challenge this organization faces in what clearly is an increasingly anti-Semitic world, which is baffling because Jews have contributed so much to technology, industry, education, medicine, in so many areas. How do you explain this rise in anti-Semitism in this day and age?
Well, anti-Semitism is a very old thing. It's 2,000 years old. And anti-Semitism is coming from 3 different radical movements, and we need to identify them and see what are the motives and what are they doing today. Clearly there is the white supremacists, the neo-Nazis, and that type of hatred has been existing for 2,000 years. And I don't know that they really know where Israel is, but they hate Jews and blacks and Latinos and anything that is not exactly like them. But they're picking up on the Jews because the Jews are a weak community. But there is more anti-Semitism coming from other groups. There is the radical Muslims who about 1,400 years ago, or maybe 1,300, decided that we are infidels and Christians are infidels, and infidels either they become Muslims or they go to hell. And so they too are extremely anti-Semitic. And not only are they anti-Semitic, but they feel that the Jews are settled land that belong to them. So they want the Jews out of Israel. They want to eradicate the state of Israel and eradicate Jews wherever they are. If you read the Hamas Charter or another Muslim Brotherhood, Jews wherever they are should be killed. And then there is the radical left, the people that actually created the Elders of Zion books and other conspiracy theories, and they have been anti-Jewish for many years. And for some reason, or good reason, they have created an alliance with the radical Muslim, what we call the Islamo-Leftist Alliance. And this alliance right now is united in their hatred to the Jews and the hatred to the state of Israel. So when we talk about anti-Semitism, it's not new. It's been around maybe 2,000 years, maybe 1,300 years, maybe 200 years, but it's been around, and I'm sure it will continue to increase, not just in the United States, it's increasing all over the world. We are just, the world today is global, and something that happened in UK and Europe and Germany or any other place is happening in the United States. The networks, the internet, it's all connected, and anti-Semitism is rising all over the world for the simple reason that those people that are attacking the Jews, their eyesight is much, much higher. The Muslims saying that Israel is just a small Satan, but it is the United States, the great Satan. And everybody knows that the Jews are just the first station. It's a weak community. It's very easy to unite many people against the Jews because everyone has some level of anti-Semitism from 0 to 100. So it's something that resonates with many people, that the Jews are to be blamed for many things. And they're using us as a punching bag to really unite their camps, to, I think, see in the messages what's working, what's not working. And once they destroy the Jews, they have bigger targets in mind. The United States, for sure.
Is it not a contradiction in terms that enemies of Jews in Israel use the technology that Israel created? Instead of riding camels and throwing stones, they use medicines and technology that actually were invented by Jews. What's your thought on that?
I think they're smart. I mean, we have the best technology. Israel has the best technology in the world, the best innovation. Anybody should use it, and you cannot prevent somebody from using it. I think it's a testament to our innovation and accomplishment that even our enemy are using our technology. I don't think it's a conflict at all. It makes a lot of sense. And I think our enemies today are much smarter than they maybe were 100 or 200 or 500 years ago. They're very well funded. They are very well organized, and they're using the best technology. And sometimes they're much better than us. Social media, for sure. I mean, look at Al Jazeera Plus, all the different media that promote anti-Semitism. They're so good that it's mind-boggling.
Certainly is. Adam, how do you see the challenges facing Western civilization at this time? We have countries in Europe that are basically having serious issues, Scandinavia and elsewhere. What are your thoughts?
I think I am the chairman of the IAC, and I just like to, first of all, focus on the challenges in front of the IAC. And I want to tell you something interesting. I believe the challenges of the IAC are opportunities, because what we're doing, every challenge that the Jewish community faces, our community faces, America perhaps faces, we try to move into this area of void that's created by the challenge, fill it up, and elevate ourselves to be more and more prominent in the United States. For example, you're talking about anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is not a Jewish problem. It's an American problem because it's threatened the American values, the freedom of speech, the freedom of religious, and our way of life here in America. So we need to educate and alert the American people that this is extreme danger to them. Of course, we can tell them, listen, whatever starts with the Jews, never end with the Jews. But it's much more than that. I think their way of life, the American way of life, our way of life is in danger, and we need to unite with allies in the American community to fight against it. It's not just for the Jews, it's not only a Jewish problem. So any kind of challenge that we see, we try to see what is the best way to fill this opportunity and lift the organization even higher.
This is all very interesting, Adam. Before we end, I'd like to ask you to share with our audience a little about your background.
Absolutely. I was born in Israel. 66 years ago. Grew up in Israel as a free person, roaming the streets like we used to do 60 years ago. In 1971, I was recruited to the Israeli army, my mandatory duty, and I had the privilege of serving in the Yom Kippur War in the Sinai front, and I actually crossed the Suez Canal and with the brigades of Ariel Sharon. And I think I came out from the war with a promise that if I come out alive, which was a question, then I will devote my life really to strengthen the state of Israel and to strengthen the thing that I care about. I came here, after the army, I got married and I went to the Technion, the Israeli Institute of Technology, like the MIT here. And I came here in 1980, had my master's in business administration from USC, and dived into the commercial real estate field where I made my living. But very soon after, I started to be involved in philanthropy, which is, at the time, it was unique for somebody who came from Israel to be so involved in philanthropy. And as a businessman, I wanted to make sure that if I give money to philanthropy, it makes an impact. Not just write a check to a big organization and you don't care what they do with it. I cared what my money is accomplishing, so I made plans, I executed plans, I gave my advice, I connected my initiative to other initiatives. I tried to create synergy between many organizations to work together so that 1 + 1 is not 2 but maybe 5. So I was very involved and I started to make a lot of impact. And this impact even energized me more to do more thing, because when you do philanthropy, I think the person that gives the money enjoys much more than the person who gets the money. So I was full with satisfaction, sense of accomplishment, and I wanted to do more. And as the IAC, very similar to what the IAC does, I like to go to areas where I feel I can make a huge impact. An area that perhaps other people don't see the opportunity or don't have the guts to do. Not everything that needs to be done, people have the guts to do. For example, we, the Jewish people, are excellent in explaining why people hate us and why anti-Semitism is not fair and it's double standards and we are good people and we are innovative and we help the world. But nobody actually cares to stand up and fight back. Because I don't think our enemies are really interested in our explanation that it's not fair that they're anti-Semite. The only thing they understand is if we go on offense. So I like to do things that are more offensive in nature. I do a lot of things that are training and educations and trip. I do all that, but I think we must complement all the politically correct things with offensive capabilities. And very few people, I think, in the Jewish world are interested in going on the offense. So I find myself doing things that have huge impact, not because I'm so good, but because I have no competition. So I can tell you that today I'm still in business. I'm in real estate. I have assets that I manage and live out of their cash flow. But 80% of my time is devoted to philanthropy. And it's spread over about 150 different organizations. Some of them I'm very dominant. I'm the major donor or part of the planning commission. Some of them I'm a small donor. But I make sure that as many of them as possible work together, synergy, and I think the impact that all of us are creating is huge. Now the IAC, I think, is a good example. We have taken the IAC nationwide. We are the first and in the front of fighting against BDS, anti-Semitism, hatred in America. We're implementing anti-BDS legislation on federal and state and city levels. We're doing things that I think some are doing and some are not doing, and that's why this organization makes such an impact.
Well, I must say the extent of all the things you're doing is absolutely spectacular and amazing. I want to thank you so very much for being with us today.
My pleasure, Richard. Be well.